Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Joe Show. I'm your host, Joseph Decker. We got a big episode today. We're going to be doing a little bit of a week recap. I'm going to give my opinions on some of the recent games that we've had recently. The weather has really hurt high school basketball these past 2 weeks, man. We've had a lot of games getting canceled, events getting canceled, things like that. So we don't have a lot of games we can sit here and cover, but we are going to be able to go back and recap things like the Lexington Catholic event. Which was a very big success. A lot of good teams there, a few upsets, a few games that were won by teams that we didn't really expect, but we're going to hit on that a little bit. Remember, we are live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Share it up. Make sure everybody sees it. I want everybody's family to be able to access the show, fans of high school basketball. Remember, we are Joseph Decker 23 on Twitter. We're Joseph Decker on Facebook, and then we're the Joe Show, your sports source on YouTube. So make sure to enjoy the show. Check it out. Leave a share. Send it to a few people. Let's get this thing going tonight. We've had some of our biggest episodes recently recapping these weeks, so I'd like to keep that momentum going forward. I'd like to let anybody know, businesses, if you'd be interested in sponsoring the Joe Show, the number one high school podcast in the state of Kentucky, let's do it, man. We're doing about 9.5 to 10,000 viewers a show right now. We're at our biggest phase we've ever been in, so it's a great opportunity and platform to put your business in front of. But let's go ahead and highlight our sponsors for today's episode. This is the last show with this group of sponsors, and then we'll be going into our new reloaded group of sponsors for the next 5 weeks. Let's talk about it. Grayville Funeral Home. That is Roy Grayville in Edmonson County, Kentucky, once you exit the bridge. Roy Grayville, longtime follower and supporter. Thank you, Roy. Stacy's on Main is a woman's boutique in Cleveland, Kentucky. Stacy, thank you for sponsoring. Tent Studios is Henry Menendez in Bowling Green, Kentucky, the number one tent. The number one tinting place in Bowling Green. I'm just going to keep it honest with you guys. They do it the best there, Henry. Thank you, Henry, for sponsoring. Patton Funeral Home is our second funeral home on here, also based in Edmonson County, Kentucky, but they have locations in Park City as well. Vet City Barbershop. That's my guy Shane Doyle in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Shane, thank you for the sponsor. Laser, it is Caleb Skaggs out of Edmonson County, Kentucky. They can do branding, they can do logos, they can do just a little bit about everything. So thank you for the sponsors. And Fleener Fencing here in Edmonson County, Kentucky. Thank you for the sponsor. And last but not least, Creekside Nursery. It's not really, a very active season for the greenhouses and things out there, but thank you, Creekside, for sponsoring the show. That's also located in Cleveland, Kentucky. So a lot of Edmonson County area sponsors, Grayson County area sponsors, but we do sponsor work with anybody around the state. So don't feel hesitant to reach out and ask. Not a weird time for a show. We had been doing some earlier shows recently, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the day, but we finally get to put this out for you all today, kind of at a decent little bit of a time period where everybody can tune in and watch. Thank you, everyone who's tuning in already. We got some people active in the chat. What's up? We're going to be starting our show today with, to be honest with you, one of the most entertaining, fun basketball players you can find in the state of Kentucky. He's an unsigned 2025 guard. Colleges, get on this guy. He has multiple offers. I tried to tell him, we'll pick his brain a little bit about recruiting, some schools that's talking to him, how it's going so far. He plays for the number one team in the state of Kentucky right now, St. X, the consensus number one to almost everybody. They're about to go into the LIT, which they won last year. When they won that last year, I don't know if you could have found a team that could have beat St. X. They looked great, but they go into it. They got a big game against Cal coming up. We're going to get Chance in here. I'm going to get Chance in here right now. This will be Chance's debut, guys. Chance, what's up, man? How you doing, bro?
What's good? What's good, Joe? How are you?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Chance, it's been too long. Should have had you on here this summer. You had a really big summer. We had some of those fun games, against Great Crossing in the summer. Just so many fun games this summer. You played great in the AAU stage. Should have had you on earlier. That's on me. But Chance, how have you been, man? Kind of enjoying this weather a little bit?
No, not at all. I've actually been inside. No, I haven't really liked this weather at all. I'm not a fan of the cold. I don't like snow.
Well, I'm going to end up asking all the guys tonight how they feel about this recent weather, and I'm going to say none of them's enjoyed it. A lot of canceled games, which is not fun. Chance, let's talk about the LIT. Kind of explain the LIT to some people that might not know, the tournament filled with these Louisville teams. Kind of go back and recap last year. I want you to talk about, you guys won it last year. Let's talk about that and, how excited you are to play in it again, because it's one of the most fun events in the state of Kentucky.
Oh, yeah. We're definitely excited. Winning it last year, gives us a lot of confidence and a lead and more experience than, the average team that's coming in. But, everyone's going to be coming for us. We have a chip on our shoulder, even though we're number one in the state. So, teams are going to be, coming in and trying to, punch us in the mouth. But obviously, we're going to punch back. It doesn't matter. We're not going to act like we're number one or anything. But we've worked hard. We prepared. And we're excited to win it again. So.
Well, it's going to be fun. You guys match up with a team that's kind of polar opposite than you all. You guys are the experienced, older team out here looking to make finish off what you guys have started. But then Cal is kind of a younger team with younger guys looking to build their name, get a big win. they'd like a win against St. X. That'd be a big win for them. But kind of tell us about this Cal team a little bit. What's some of the things they plan to do, kind of what their top guys. I know we're not sure about Boogie Cook. He was recently ejected from the game. We don't know how that will play out. But tell us about Cal a little bit and going into this game.
Well, they actually took one of our players last year, Rollin Swan. I mean, he's a tough kid. I mean, I know they're very tough. I know they're very young though, but we have more experience than them and more, varsity level play, more varsity level experience than they do. I mean, they have a lot of young talent, and with JJ Washington, who is like as good as he's advertised, we've definitely got to focus on like containing him. We'll throw Chief Cameron, number 4. We'll throw Chief on him, just make him tired. All we got to do is just stay disciplined on defense and making them earn every point. We're just going to treat them how we should, just like be seniors and just be older than them.
Well, I'm glad you shout out Chief. Chance, I'm going to have you talk about the coaches, the players a little bit for those that might not know about St. X. It's hard not to, but there might be a few people out there. But, man, we said it the other day. It's hard to find a better 3-and-D guard than Chief Cameron statewide. I mean, the guy is the definition of energy, impact. He does a little bit of everything. Chance, tell us about this St. X roster and what makes it so special.
So first I'll start off with our captain, Will Hankey. I mean, he's just a bulldozer. I mean, he'll run through anybody.
The most efficient player in the state right now. I think he's leading the state in field goal percentage.
Yeah, he's leading like 70-something% shooting. I mean, this is by far his best year. 3-point shooting, finishing layups, left hand and right hand, making his free throws. I mean, Will just plays a key part. Without Will, we don't win. And then you got Graham, who's Jesus Christ. You got Graham, who scores every single time that he's in the paint. You can't. I mean, he's unstoppable. You got Jeremiah, who's Jeremiah, D1 player, offers here and there, dunking on people. You got Chief, who run around everywhere. He's a pest on defense. He can score the ball. He can finish left and right. He can shoot the ball. You got Josh. You got little Josh. You can just jump out the gym. 44-inch vertical, dunking on people. He's a freshman, but he's a hooper though. He can hoop. Yeah. Like people think that he's just dunking. Like no, he can actually play. He can start for us. We have our top 10, but I mean he can start for us. We have Brandon Days, who's another guard. He's a pro in soccer though. Yeah. He's actually a pro soccer player. He plays for Lou City, but he's equally as good at basketball. You got Connor Klein, coach's son, he can shoot. Bryce Johnson, he can shoot. Noah Sosa, pest on defense. I mean, we solid 10 guys.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people forget sometimes, Bryce, he's not going to wow you on the box score sometimes because he's just such an impact player, but the guy has a D1 offer. I mean, we got people coming off in the second platoon with Division I offer. So I think it kind of shows how good this team is. You guys at times run a little platoon, a 5-and-5. I know when games get, closer, you'll switch up the lineup, how things work. But I think that's something a lot of people like about you is because if the starters aren't doing good, here comes a whole new 5. So it's like Coach Klein is always getting new guys involved, new things happening, different type of rotations at times so people can get used to playing with each other. And I think that's kind of what makes this St. X team so fun. You guys are leading the state in scoring a game right now. I know people want to say 79.7, but we'll say 80. It's 80 a game, man. But kind of go through this season so far. So last season, you guys won the LIT, and it kind of looked like nobody could beat St. X for a while. But you guys, y'all had a disappointing region, something that you guys probably still, carry around with y'all every once in a while. What were some of the things that motivated you all going into the season to be as great as you are right now?
Well, I mean, just thinking about that loss. I mean, you never want to lose. I mean, I hate losing. I'm a sore loser. I mean, that left a bad taste in my mouth. So we came back in the summer. We won the conference tournament. I feel like we had a point to prove that that game didn't define us and that we're way better than how we played in that last game. So, I mean, during the preseason, we worked hard. We ran outside even whenever it was 1,000,000 degrees outside. We just did the extra things just to get us where we need to be and win a state championship. So, yeah.
Well, Chance, it's a fun thing. It might be the most fun thing out of everything. You love playing, but the recruitment has to be fun. I'm not going to make you give a recruitment date. I'm not going to make you commit on here, but just kind of tell me how the recruiting has been, man. Some of the schools that's maybe talked to you, and do you have maybe a plan on when you would like to commit? Do you want to finish the season? Kind of tell me what your your outline's looking like right now.
I'm gonna tell you what I tell everybody else. I'm gonna wait until the season is completely over. Then I'm gonna think. Then I'm going to think about college or whatever. I don't even know. I could possibly do a postgraduate situation, or I could go to a college. But at the moment, I really have no idea.
Man, it's hard. It's kind of like the most important decision you can make. And I know right now you're all focused on this season. And I 100% understand, man. This is a big year, so that'll be an interesting, fun day to come. Chance, how's the locker room right now with these guys? I know everybody's excited, everybody's hyped with how it's going right now, but how do you guys still, kind of maintain all the noise coming in, all the hype, all the energy? How do you guys maintain that and still say, look, the job's not finished. We still have games to go on to. We still got a whole postseason ahead. How has Coach Klein kind of helped you all stay in the moment, stay focused, and keep working?
I mean, he always preaches about like staying true to who we are and staying humble and like the identity, like keeping our identity as a team.
Yeah.
Like no person is bigger than anybody else. Like we're a no ego team. Everybody is like for one another, and it's all about like blocking out the noise and like focusing on like what's in front of us. So like we don't really listen to any of like the outside noise. People say we're number one. We don't look at it like that. We think we're 255th in the state. Like we're not listening to any of that because it doesn't mean anything at the end of the day.
Well, Chance, I appreciate you coming on here tonight, man. I didn't want to hold you too long. I know you wanted to be first on here tonight. We got to kind of talk about your recruitment a little bit, talk about this big game against Cal coming up, how the success has been so far. And I know St. X has shown up tonight. I've already had comments. I know the St. X fans are watching. Say something to the fans watching right now.
What's up, Tiger Nation? Yeah, hit one of those. Yeah.
Well, Chance, you got a big game coming up against Cal in the LIT.
Oh.
Guys are looking to run it back again. Chance isn't even on the screen right now. There we go. I know you guys are looking to run it back in this LIT, man. You got some big games coming up. I wish you the best of luck. We're going to be out there watching that one. That should be fun. Chance, leave us off with something before we move on to our next guest, Jordan Mitchell.
We're better than Mill, and Jordan Mitchell can't guard me. That's all I got to say.
Chance, thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for making your debut. It's been fun, man. Keep up the great season. I'll see you soon, my guy.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you for having me.
Of course. We knew Chance Dillingham would leave a little bit of a fun ending. We knew Chance would make things fun and end this off here, but we're going to be moving on to one of the top freshmen in the state of Kentucky. We're going to have him some hard-hitting, fun questions to talk about the recent success of Mel, kind of ask him how he's feeling about the season so far. This guy's young. We're not going to be asking too many recruiting questions yet. This guy's still got 4 more years, but we'll talk to him a little bit on how the season's been so far, how he's playing, how he's feeling. We'll talk about Coach Hayworth. We're obviously going to do that, but he's going to have to defend himself after how Chance ended things off there. Let's welcome on the man, Jordan Mitchell. Jordan, what's up, man? Welcome to the show, man.
He wasn't talking to me. He wasn't talking to me.
He wasn't? No. Jordan, how have you been, man? Welcome to the show. We've not did a little interview since this summer, dude.
Yes, sir. I've been good. How you been?
I've been good. I'd ask you the same question as Chance, man. How are you enjoying the weather? But I went up to Louisville to the Louisville Clemson game, and man, it's rough.
It's bad. We can't do nothing. We've been snowed in. They cleared the roads a little bit.
Yeah.
We're just starting to practice.
Well, I asked Chance about it because St. X Mel, both Louisville teams, and we got the LIT coming up, and it's one of the most fun events in the state. The Louisville teams get to showcase against each other in a little March Madness-esque type of bracket. Tell us about your all's game you have coming up. Tell us who you play, how you're going into that game feeling, and some of your expectations for that battle, because we know in an event like this, even the teams with bad records are going to play the best they can. So how are you kind of going into this game?
So we play Atherton Tuesday at Male at 6 o'clock. We come in the game with a level head. Anybody can be anybody in the LIT.
Yeah.
It's every night you can be beat. We'll say that. Every night you can be beat. But, Atherton, they're a tough team. You can't overlook them. They almost beat Trinity. I don't know how that game ended, but they got some tough players and some key players that we're going to have to lock in on.
So, Jordan, let's talk about the season so far. You guys come in with a good record, got some big wins under your belt. You got a few losses, but that's as expected. No team is undefeated, but you guys took a rough injury early in December with Cole Edlin going out. And I want to ask you this question, especially, Jordan. How have you been able to kind of, you're so young as a freshman. How have you kind of been able to take the lead guard spot, be a leader, help lead this team at such a young age? How difficult has that been, and how have you been able to do it?
It's been hard because, Cole, he was our main point guard. We had a lot of faith in him, but him having an injury had made everybody, not just me, everybody had to step up.
Yep.
And, I had to take the role on, yes, I'm a freshman, but I'm going to have to lead the team in the point guard role. So I just needed – the team trusted me. I can say that. They trusted me in making the right decisions and all that. And us playing as a team, getting better every day has helped me a lot.
Of course, I got to ask you about a man who's kind of starting to get his name out there a lot more than he had previously. He's having a huge season. I know he's got to be one of your favorite teammates. Tell me a little bit about Jason Gassaway, man. He's so fun to watch. He's so physical. He's got a great offensive game. Tell me about Gassaway a little bit. And I know it's got to be a comfort to you playing with him on the same floor, knowing he can get a bucket, play defense, do a little bit of everything.
It makes my job easier. I say that. It makes my job easier. He's a great player. People don't talk about him as much, but he deserves it. He works out. He does all that. He works hard. But he's someone that I could, like, if I got past it, I know he's going to knock down a shot no matter what. He's going to always play, always talk, always lead. He can't hurt you.
Yeah. Well, Jordan, I'll say this. You've by far been, the standout freshman so far, especially statistically. Your name's been out there a lot, but, we always want to improve. There's always room to improve. What's something that you want to improve on before the season's over? Is it, improving as a leader more, upping your shot percentages, maybe bumping the points per game up a little bit, or at the end of the day, just winning games? What's something that you kind of have set for the end of the season that you want to reach that goal?
I want to get better on everything, but I think the big thing that I really want to get better on is offensive rebounding. Going to crash the boards on the offensive glass and giving me opportunities to score and all that, but not only opportunities for me, but opportunities for my team to score the basket.
Well, I think we got to talk about Coach Hayworth a little bit. Coach Hayworth just got put in the Hopkinsville Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Coach. You deserve that 100%. But I feel like Coach Hayworth is like the definition of energy. The man is loud. He gets into it. He gets excited. He gets red-faced all the time. How great has it been to be under a guy like that, one of the best coaches in the state, and kind of have him help mentor and coach you early in your career?
It's been real great. He's never going to let me down. He's going to always have faith in me, but he's going to make sure we always work hard and always doing what we're supposed to do. It's been, I'm not going to say hard, but it's been, it's different. I'm not used to that coaching, but I got used to it over the time. He's a great coach.
Of course, man. Tell me about Keyshawn Jordan. Let's hit on this team a little bit. We'll talk about Keyshawn, but I want you to kind of talk about the coaches at Male, the guys you get to share the roster spots with. Tell me about this team a little bit for those that might not be too familiar with Male.
So you got our big Keyshawn Senior. He came off the EYBL season, a great season, but he's been dominating at the ground session. He just had 29 and 11, I'm pretty sure. He's been dominating the post, making his presence felt. I think us as a city needs to talk about him more too. Then you got our guard, Corn, great facilitator. We try and get him, shoot the ball a little bit more, but he's a great facilitator. He's going to always make sure he gets his guys involved and all that. And then our bench, we come off with Devin, Dayton. We have a young group. We only have 2 seniors, but everybody's working every day.
Mm-hmm. Well, Jordan, I have to ask you this, man, just from a perspective of a fan, the freshman class in Kentucky is great. We are truly in good hands, moving forward. We have the guards like Jordan Mitchell, Josh Lindsay, Cooper Stone, Austin Sears. We have these young guards. It's going to be great. But then we have the Boogie Cooks, the Jordan Jacksons, Andrew Terry, these guys that are somehow freshmen at 6'8", 6'6", and then you got a guy like you, Jordan, you're a 6'3" guard, makes everything happen. You're a super fun player to watch. How good is this freshman class, man? Just tell us, because you got to be around them and experience them more than anybody else. How good is this class, man?
I think we're amazing, to be honest. Not amazing, but we always got to work on stuff. But in the whole, we have everywhere around Kentucky, there's a great 2028 you'll find. Yep. And we all have a good bond too. Like, yes, we always want to be better than one another, but we all bond real well too.
Of course. And I think that's a huge thing you hit on there, because there's always going to be people making rivalries. Guys want to go against each other. But at the end of the day, it's an uplifting thing to boost each other up and continue to work hard. Jordan, you guys got this big game coming up. You guys got Atherton, and then you continue to move on. You guys, like I said, this isn't an easy tournament at all, man. The LIT last year was greatly competitive, a lot of great games. How excited are you to play into this year, man?
I'm real excited. I played in as an 8th grader. I had to leave my 8th grade game, come to the game. But I'm excited because it's more of like I have like a big decision on how the game goes. I can control the team a little bit more. But I'm really excited, and I want St. X too.
Oh, yeah. I knew you would say that, Jordan. Jordan, I'll ask you 2 last things, man. We'll close it off with here. Say something to the Male fans out there watching right now, getting to tune in and watch you, and, say something good for the Male Nation and the Bulldogs.
Let's go, Bulldogs. We're going to state.
Of course, Jordan. Jordan, I know you can't leave it off here without getting chanced a little bit. I know you said you want St. X back, but Jordan, I got to ask you, man, how will that St. X game go? How pumped are you to play them and maybe match up with them, man?
I'm very excited. You know, it's gonna be a great environment. Louisville always
Yeah.
gonna show out for us. I want Chance, by the way. I want him to guard me too. Since he talked, I'm gonna put him in the post. He's too little. But at the end of the day, like we got to play them in regular season too, right after the LIT. So you know we got to take that game, learning experience, because it's not the last game. So we got to learn from it, grow from it, even if we do win. But we got to come out on victorious.
Well, the seventh region is extremely fun. It's filled with great teams. You'll always have your top guys. You'll always have the Trinity. You'll always have the Mill. You'll always have the St. X. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I think everyone's excited to see how the season continues to play out for you all. We're still wishing Cole Edlin, the best prayers and the best wishes, hoping he gets back on the court soon. Jordan, can you give us any type of update on Cole? Do we know when Cole could be back?
We ain't really talked about it on the surgery because, that's his business. We want to take care of it, but because we just looking better, getting better every day. But, we want him back. We praying for him.
Well, Jordan, of course, man. Jordan, thanks for coming on, man. We did an interview this summer. I had to get you back on the show to make your debut, man. We'll be checking in with you again soon. We'll definitely do something next week with the LIT, kind of get you back on here. But, Jordan, thanks for hopping on, man. Go Bulldogs, and it's going to be fun seeing you all play Atherton, man.
Chance can't guard me.
Thanks for hopping on, Jordan. Jordan Mitchell, one of the freshman sensations in the state of Kentucky, making his debut on the show as a guest. Jordan, thanks for hopping on, man. Jordan and Chance, good friends off the floor, but, man, we got to see those two guys match up, two of the top guards in Louisville. That will be a fun one. Our next guest has been tearing up the scoring scene, man. This guy is coming off back-to-back 50-point performances. He plays in Eastern Kentucky. He's been on the show before. We had a really good episode. He's made some changes in his AAU. He switched teams. He's got a new team he'll talk to us a little bit about today, hopefully. We're going to run through how Prestonburg has been a little bit. They started with some losses, but they have completely flipped. They're coming on you look right here, they're on a 5-game winning streak. They got a big game coming up against Martin County, so it's going to be a lot of fun for Prestonburg and what they have cooked up. We're going to talk to our guy Braxton Keithley, get him on here. And Braxton, welcome back to the show, man. This is appearance number 2.
Good.
How are you doing, Brax?
I'm doing pretty good. Just enjoying the snow.
Oh yeah, you are enjoying the snow?
Yeah, I've been snow sledding. It's fun. I don't know why everybody's sad about it. I'm able to get in the gym and work.
Of course, man.
I live right by the gym.
I knew the Eastern Kentucky guys would like the snow. Because I've been seeing the snow challenge go around where guys are going and running around in the snow. So I knew the Eastern Kentucky guys. Man, I'm not doing it either. I got nominated by the great Steve and Heather Carter. I won't be doing that. I'll go ahead and.
I ain't trying to get sick.
I'm not. I know 100%. Tell us about this Martin County game coming up, Braxton. It's going to be a fun one. Martin County is a fun, solid team. Don't let me go blank here, Braxton. Tell me about their top player, their leading scorer, Parker Watts. Talk to us about Martin County and going into this game.
Man, Martin County is supposed to be number 1 team in the region. Parker Watts is averaging 27, I think.
Having a big year,
but,
yeah.
Dial's kid, he's a freshman. He's having a great year too. He's the point guard. He leads that team. And then they got Devin Mayer. He's a power forward. He just plays his role. And then Braden Eastep. And then there's one more. Oh, Peyton Davis. Supposed to be the best defender in the region. We'll see how that goes.
Well, it should be a battle. Tell me about this, Braxton. You guys are coming off a 5-game win streak. I know you guys are definitely excited about it. You beat McGoffin. You beat the team out of Cincinnati. You beat Mingo Central, Phelps, Pikeville. So you've got some nice wins under your belt after a slower start. You lose those first 5 games. I know spirits are down. You guys might be upset. How have you guys kind of flipped the switch and turned things over to, a winning rest of the way since then has been winning? What was there a locker room change? Was some guys also stepping up? What kind of flipped the switch for you guys to start going on this streak?
I just think we just figured out our roles and what we can do better. I don't think anything changed our minds because we know how good we are.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have to have a win or a loss tell us how good we are.
Yeah.
I mean, we just kept going in to practice, battling, and just got better and realized what we need to do to win.
Well, Braxton,
that's what we're doing.
Braxton, I know you're a huge person when it comes to highlighting your teammates. You're extremely humble. You like to get other guys involved, talk about them, give them some spotlight. Talk about this team right now. We know Caden Allen and Connor Napier have been brought up a lot and mentioned, both double-digit per game scores. But talk to us about the coaching staff. I know Coach Tackett's there, and kind of talk to us a little bit about the supporting cast, guys around you who have had good seasons so far.
Mm-hmm. I mean, again, we got our big dog, Connor Napier. Nobody would have thought last year he'd be shooting 66% from 3, which is crazy. He hit 4 threes against Pikeville. If he didn't hit those, we wouldn't have won.
Yeah.
He rebounds well. He finishes around the rim well. He just does his role well. He's a great teammate. And then we got Caden Allen, double guy. I
Yeah.
mean, man, it's fun to watch him play. All the fans at Prestonsburg love him because he does his role the right way. He gets players involved, but he also gets himself involved.
Yeah.
That's what I love about him. He's a great teammate. Then we got an 8th grader come off the bench. Man, he works hard. He's in the gym almost every day with me. He stepped up against Pikeville. I think he had 8 or 9, which is big for an 8th grader. And then we got Ryan. He wasn't starting the first 5 games, and then he came in, was the big deal breaker for us. He gave us energy. I mean, he's a great teammate. Then we got Tegan, who's our best defender, comes out there and does the hustle plays. But really, we just all love to play together. And then we got Coach Tackett, of course, who's trying to just get us to buy in. Then Adam Sloan, who's in the gym with us, working us. And then we got Coach Compton. He used to do 95.5 games. But, yeah, the fans are great, too, getting us in high hopes. We just got to keep it up.
Well, Braxton, it's been fun. You know I'm going to mention it. You know I got to bring it up, man. Let's talk about it. You are leading the state in scoring right now. I know that's a big thing for you. I know you're always going to credit the teammates and stuff, but we have to highlight that, Braxton. Out of everybody in the state of Kentucky, you're averaging 32.9 points a game. Through 10 games, you have scored 329 points. You know, that's a great feat to have. You're shooting 50% from the field, man, and that's a high clip. And I know you want to boost the 3-point shooting numbers up a little bit. Continue to get to the line. You're shooting 86% from the free throw line, 50% from the field, man. You know what's it been, Braxton? Because we knew you were great last year. We knew you could put up numbers. But is there a mentality this season you're going into that you didn't have last year, maybe?
No, I've had the same mentality since I've been little.
Yeah.
I mean, just work hard, and God's going to always reward you. I mean, I can't thank my teammates enough. Just finding me in the open spots, getting the ball to me. But, I mean, it's just me playing basketball, trying to compete and win games.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
all
Braxton,
it is.
I know you're going to stay humble. I say that a lot when I'm around you because I know you're not a guy who likes to be too humble. But the back-to-back 50-point performances, man. You had 51 against Mingo Central, and then you go for 56 against Phelps. There had been 2 other players before you who had scored 50 this season on the dot, and that was Kayvon Ennis from Southern, and then it was Ty Price from Butler County. And then you come out of here, and I get a text one night, Braxton just had 50, blah, blah, blah. And then you do it the next night, man. I know you're going to credit your teammates a lot, but how were those games? What did you do so well? What do you excel at? Were you able to get to the rim well, get to the free throw line? What kind of set up those great performances?
I mean, I just played my game for real. I mean, my teammates got me the ball, so I was hot. I mean, we went to double overtime with Phelps, who's a really good team in our region. They got a bunch of transfers. But, yeah, I mean, there was no mentality. It was just coming out and winning, trying to win the game and compete.
Braxton, let's talk about this schedule moving forward, man. You've got the Martin County game. You go to Phelps, who like you said, you just went to double overtime with Phelps, so you get to play them again Thursday. You guys got some games that's not listed online right now, some to be announced games, so that'll be fun. But, you'll have Belfry down the line, which is a fun team I like over here. That'll be a little bit of a battle. So you got Martin County, Phelps, you got Belfry, kind of in your rearview mirror. You got them coming up soon. So kind of talk to us about this schedule, man, how you guys kind of plan to finish out this season and, go into these big games. Because Martin County, I think that's going to be a real fun game. I think you can agree with me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, win or lose, we're just going to keep our heads straight and keep playing. I can't wait to play Belfry. Jackson used to play for Prestonsburg, and he moved to Belfry, so that's going to be a fun game. And it's our place, so we got to protect our house.
Of course.
And I can't wait to play Martin County. I can't wait to compete on the Expo court. I mean, I'm just ready to compete. It's been a little bit since we played, so I'm excited.
Well, it's fun in Eastern Kentucky, Braxton. A lot of people are big critics. They don't like the talent pool in Eastern Kentucky. They don't think they can compete against other guys. They think the talent's weak. These numbers aren't all that. What do you have to say to them, Braxton? Tell me, hype up Eastern Kentucky and kind of hype up these guys over there you're playing with, and kind of
in the top 50 scores. I mean, Eastern Kentucky has 15 of them. Yeah. I mean, that should tell you everything you need to know. I mean, we got players that's got offers. I think we got – how many do you think we got off that has offers in East Kentucky? At least 8, right? I'm talking – Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And Braxton, you hit on that. Let's hit on that real quick, man. I know you're still a sophomore. You still got a lot to go. I know you're still excited for it. But kind of tell us how the recruiting's been for you a little bit. You come in here with multiple offers. You actually added an offer or 2 since last time you were on the show. So tell us who's offered you right now and, how you're kind of enjoying this recruiting process a little bit early.
I got offers from Texas A&M Corpus Christi, Ohio University, and Southeastern Missouri.
Mm.
I'm about to go on visits with on March 5th to Louisville.
Yep.
Then which I don't know the exact date right now, but I'm setting up one with Indiana, and then LSU too. So it's gonna be a fun time in the next couple months.
It is going to be fun, Braxton. It's one of the most fun parts of an athlete. Everyone tells me they love the recruiting process, the visits, things like that. Braxton, keep up the great work, man. You're leading the state in scoring. This is your second time on the show, man. So I always appreciate you having time to come on here, man. Leave something for the Eastern Kentucky fans and the Black Cat fans over there at Prestonburg before we head off to our next guest.
Yeah, I just want to say thank y'all. Keep supporting, and hopefully we make it to Rupp.
Awesome. Braxton, thanks for coming on, man. You stay safe. Keep enjoying this weather.
All right, I got you.
All right, Braxton, we'll see you again soon. Braxton Keithley, one of the most energetic guys you will meet. That's his second time on the show. Thank you, Braxton, for coming out and hopping on again. We had him this summer before his recruitment actually had started booming like it was. So it's always good to get him to come back on here and get things going. We're going to be moving on to another one of the top players in the state of Kentucky, but this is going to be our first guy from that junior class, 2026. His name is Jacob Spurlock. He's from Boyd County. A lot of people consider this guy the best shooter in the state of Kentucky. I'd like to hear y'all's opinion on that. We got a lot of them. Eastern Kentucky has been blessed with some of the best snipers, scorers, all over the country. We've had the Travis Perrys, the Ty Prices. We've had these guys. Where does Jacob Spurlock kind of align there for you all? Jacob's a fun player to watch. He's a fun player to scout, good guy to talk to behind the scenes. So I'm really glad to have Jacob making his debut on here today. Let's get you all in the know for Jacob real quick. Jacob plays for Boyd County, coached by Randy Anderson. Jacob right now is averaging 28 points a game and 7.5 rebounds. He shoots great splits from the field. He's about as efficient of a scorer you will find for the shots he takes, the scoring he does. So he's shooting 41% from the three. He's shooting 48% from the total field goal percentage, which is great. Almost 50-40 for Jacob Spurlock. It'll be Jacob's debut on here. We got some questions for him. Let's get into it. Jacob, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. How you doing, my guy?
Good, Joe. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, man. Like I said with Chance, it's been too long. We should have had you on here. You had a great summer with Indiana Elite. So that's on me for not getting you on here sooner, Jacob, but I'm glad to have you on here, man. I'll ask you, because I think everyone's been asking each other this, sports people or not. Have you been enjoying this snow, man? I know it's canceled some games. I know it's had things difficult. How you feeling?
The only positive I take it from is that we get out of school. We're out of school already, too, so we haven't been since probably a month, really. But it's been taking out some games and some practices. I'm not really liking that, but
yeah,
we got a game tomorrow, so that's cool.
Well, I guess technically you could say, it's a corny little joke, but it's the same for me. We've not had school in a minute. We've kind of been out for the last year because we're in a new year now. So we've not got to go since last year. Jacob, one thing I want to hit on big time is I want to talk about your recruitment, man. And we still got the 2025 guys that got to commit and get their things done with. And then you guys step up. But, in this 2026 class, it's premiered by some of the top players. We have the Jaden Johnsons, the Jacob Spurlocks, the Reese Davidsons, the Cole Edlins. And there's guys I'm naming. There's guys I'm not naming. And that's not, I'm just talking about some of these guys, man. It's a loaded class. Jalen Crane, Jeremiah Jackson. We could sit here and talk about it forever, dude. DeMarcus Surratt. But tell me how your recruiting process has been so far. I know you come into this show with multiple offers. I know you told me there was other schools talking to you right now. So how have you kind of been able to enjoy this recruiting process? Tell me some of the visits you might have lined up, who's offered, things of that nature.
One thing I want to say about our class, though, I think we're the best overall class in Kentucky. I've always thought top to bottom. But the recruitment side of it, I've had a lot of mid-majors hitting me up recently, like Miami, Ohio, Belmont, Marshall, Moorhead, WKU, a lot of those. But the visit, like I've been trying to go on the Old Dominion visit for, a couple months. It's just been not working. Like some will pop up and I won't be able to go. But I've been to Miami, Ohio, been to Marshall, been to Belmont. I liked all those schools. They were very nice schools. Then UIC is a school, Illinois Chicago, that's been hitting me up a lot recently. They want me to come on a visit. They was at Lex Cath.
Yep.
A couple schools watched me there at that tournament. But they've been hitting me up a lot recently. And East Tennessee State, where we played at we had a tournament down in Tennessee, Kingsport area, and that's close to Johnson City.
Yeah.
So they were there to watch me too. But it's been a roller coaster for the recruiting process right now.
Oh yeah, and it's just going to continue to get that way. I think it's fun. I mean, it can be nervous sometimes. I've heard it can be stressful. It can be something that sometimes is kind of all on your mind. But I know you're able to kind of control that a little bit right now. Boyd County Lions, man, tell us about this roster a little bit. Some of the guys you get to play with. I know Cole Hicks, Jackson Childers. Kind of tell us about these guys, how the season's going so far. And we're going to talk about that big game coming up. I know you guys have Rowan County coming up. You said that'll be tomorrow. So tell me about this roster, man, and the coaching staff.
And this year has been a crazy year for us. We haven't had our whole starting core and our 6th, 7th guys all year since the Adair County game in preseason. We had everybody in the Great Crossing Adair County game. Then our point guard gets hurt. He's still hurt. He tore ligaments in his foot.
Yeah.
So we drop him right after our second preseason game before the season starts. Then the game against Ashland, so he was our 6th man when we had everybody, but then he started because our point guard was out. He gets hurt, tears his ACL in the Ashland game. So we're down 2 guys right there. Then we go to Knoxville, Tennessee. Our defensive guy, Rhett Holbrook, our energy guy, he also put the ball in the hole. He breaks his hand, and he's still hurt. So we've dealt with a lot of injuries this year. That's made some guys step up, and we got 2 guys that used to play basketball that didn't play this year, and we brought them back in. So we got 2 more key pieces coming in. But talk about Cole Hicks. Me and Cole, we've been playing together since kindergarten. He's one of my best friends. Really, our core of guys have all been playing together since kindergarten. That's what's cool about us. But we got him. Then we got Jackson Childers, a transfer. He came in from Dayton Express Prep. He's helped us a lot because our senior that graduated last year, he was our big. So he came in, filled that spot right in, and he's doing great for us. Then we got Marcus Bruffield. He used to play with us when we were younger, but he went and played for Holy Family last year, and then he came back this year for his senior year. But he's a football guy. He does the dirty work, set screens. He can also shoot. Then we got Ethan Raridan. He's a sniper. He's our catch and shoot guy. When we need a catch and shoot 3, and we need a 3 for him to knock down, he'll knock it down. But yeah, he's a my grade. He's getting better. It's making him step up with all the injuries. He's one of those guys that's really had to step up. But then the two guys that came in this season, Deegan Jones and Josh Kelly, they've really stepped up for us this year a lot. So, but we're just getting better, getting through the adversity right now because we got a lot of injuries. We're still down, but we're not going to use that as an excuse. We're still going to get better, and we're still going to play hard.
Of course, man. And I'll be honest with you, we've had a lot of people talk about full rosters, things like that. But, Jacob, that might have been one of the best, going through guy by guy, giving everybody their respect, showing love to everybody. I really like that. One thing about Boyd County is it felt like we all knew a guy like Jacob Spurlock. We knew this team was legit. We knew they were led by a guy like you. But that Great Crossing game, the preseason game, Lavelle Martin putting out the nice video, 10th region, getting some pictures. I think that put a lot more people on notice because they seen how you were playing, how you guys kept it competitive with at the time who many thought were the number 1 team in the state. And I think that put, the respect on you all a lot higher. And then we see you guys going to, I think you told me you guys played in Florida. I think you guys played in Tennessee. You guys went to some big time events, and we see you guys succeeding there and you playing good. Then you come back, play Lexington. You guys play Bryan Station, Lyon County, Newport. So you guys kind of went into this season, it seems, knowing that you guys had the talent, had the pieces to compete, and you guys scheduled such a hard schedule. Tell me, how is it dealing with a schedule like this? A lot of travel, going up against the top teams in the state. It feels like you don't really get a feel for one certain arena because you're always playing somewhere different. How are you able to handle that and the adversity you've been challenged with so far?
Yeah, man. We haven't had a home game since the Ashland game, which has been about a month and probably month and a week by now. So
December 10th. So a month and like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, we haven't had a home game since then. But we like going and traveling and playing at different spots, playing against different teams because they throw things at us we don't really see around here. Playing like more athletic teams, not more fundamental, because that's how it is around here in Eastern. But Yeah, but I think it is good for us. Everywhere we've played has been good competition. But we have played really good teams, and that's what's going to get us ready for in March. So this is why I like us, playing a hard schedule how we have this year, and playing all the good teams we've had so far.
Yeah,
it's really going to show in March when it really matters.
Of course, man. And I think games like this, you look at you might take a loss, you take a 3 or 4 point loss and it does hurt, but at the end of the day, it builds you up for later in the season. And I think that's, I don't think I've ever had a coach on here not say, I don't want to schedule hard teams. No, you want to play those hard teams, let them build you as players, coaches. So when you're down the line, you kind of know adversity. You know how things are different. You go to Rupp Arena where it's half one crowd, all the lights on you. You can kind of adjust to that and understand because you've dealt with that before. So I think it's great. Jacob, I'll ask you this. I kind of talked about the adversity being thrown at you and how it can be difficult, but how do you guys kind of keep the locker room under check? How does the coaches stay composed, stay focused when you have injuries, like you said? I know there's an emotional task on that too, especially when you see one of your friends going down, can't play rest of the season, things like that. How have you guys kind of been able to stay together, stay as one, stay composed despite the injuries on this team?
Well, we all know what we're all made of, and we try to raise those guys. We try to bring them up from getting injured because we know it sucks. It sucks that now watching your team play without you. But, we're going to work hard, keep going for those guys that can't play. And we're going to make sure, we do the right things. And hopefully we get them back by tournament time. But right now, the locker room, the locker room's great right now. Even though, we win a couple games, we take a couple losses, but all of our losses have been good losses. To good teams. There has been a couple where we've been like, yeah, we should have won those. Yeah, we should have won those, but it's all right. You learn more from losses than wins anyway.
Yeah.
So I think it is good for us losing some of those games, but we just got to keep going.
Yeah. Jacob, you're averaging 28 points a game right now, 7.5 rebounds. The thing that I love about Jacob Spurlock is that the guy does take a lot of shots, but he is so efficient. You shoot 50% from the field. You shoot 41% from three. And I say you take a lot of shots. No. I mean, I actually, kind of messed up my words there because when you look at it, the shots plays by plays, there's not a lot of times you're shooting over 20 shots a game, but if you do, you're shooting, you're hitting 11, 12, 13, 14 of them. What would you say has contributed to the most of you being such an efficient basketball player? Has it been the long hours in the gym, working with your coaches, trainers, things like that?
Yeah. Them long hours in the gym, them long nights, on the machine, doing extra work while everybody else is, hanging out with their friends, stuff like that. That's when it really shows. But also got to give credit to the teammates.
Yeah.
Because when you get face guarded, it's hard to get the ball.
Yeah.
So I give them credit, finding me open, giving me the ball at the right times, good timing on the passes, setting me screens. Those are the guys that don't give enough credit to. But them long hours in the gym, that's really who made me the player who I am right now.
Well, Jacob, I got to ask you this question. You texted me the other day talking about, man, I just hit 2,000 career points. Let's get the graphics and stuff made. Ask me this, Jacob. It's a hard question. I don't mean to say ask. Tell me this. Which one did you enjoy more, the 1,000th career point or the 2,000th career point? Which one do you think you hold more valuable?
I'd easily say the 1,000.
Yeah.
2,000, it just, felt like it was a milestone for me, but it felt when I hit that 1,000, because I was a freshman when I hit 1,000. Yeah. And that was the world to me. I was so hyped.
Well, Jacob, I'll ask you this because you say you're a freshman hitting 1,000 points, which obviously shows you've been playing varsity for a little while. There's a lot of kids nowadays. We just had Jordan Mitchell on here who's been playing varsity basketball since an 8th grader. This guy's been playing for a while. So tell me this, what advice would you give to the younger guys who's, playing varsity in middle school, 7th grader, 8th grader, a young kid having to help carry the load of teams, be a leader as such a young guy? What advice would you give to those kids?
Just pick the heads from the older guys that's been there for a while. Just learn from them, and then, just play with confidence. As a young guy, at varsity level, playing at 8th grade, playing as a freshman, being the guys of freshman, being the guys of 8th grader, it's tough. You have a lot of pressure on you, but you just got to play with confidence because you're there for a reason. Like, you're playing up for a reason. So I think that was one of the other best things that could ever happen to me playing varsity at such a young age. It slowed the game down a lot for me.
Yeah.
And I think it's really beneficial for younger kids. So I just tell them, keep working, keep going hard, and just pick the older guy's brain and just learn from them.
Well, Jacob, it's been a lot of fun, man, letting you make your debut tonight. I feel like we've talked about – we could probably go for another 30 minutes, but I feel like we've got to talk about some key things. I know Reese is in the back ready to get on here. We're keeping the guy up all night. But, Jacob, I appreciate you coming on here, man, and making your debut. Before you hop on here, I'll let you say something to the fans and the people around Kentucky watching. And I'll ask you one last thing, Jacob. The stats are great. The numbers are great. But what's a goal you have set for the end of the season you're hoping to reach by the time you get there?
Play the Rupp. That's been the goal, since I've got into Boyd County. Just play a Rupp.
Well, Jacob, I appreciate you hopping on again, man. Leave us off something for the Boyd County Lion fans watching tonight.
Lion Strong Nation, thank you for all the support and everything you give us, and we'll bring y'all home we'll bring y'all home a banner this year.
Jacob, I'm taking your word, man. It's going to be fun. Jacob, thanks for making your debut tonight. It was great to have you, dude. Hopefully to get you on again soon. Thank you, bro. We'll be moving on here soon. Thank you, Jacob.
Thank you for having me.
Jacob Spurlock, he's a one-of-a-kind character. He's a great person to talk to, but he's a great player too, so it's always good to have Jacob. This was Jacob's debut, but he kind of came in. He talked like a vet. I love those guys. Next up, you see at the bottom, Reese Davidson, another junior, one of the top juniors in the state of Kentucky. This guy's probably got to be nationally ranked too. This guy Reese is a monster. This guy Reese is a super fun player to watch and enjoy. We're going to get Reese in here in just about a minute. Reese plays at North Laurel. Reese has a lot of fun connections, a little fun. He's cousins with Reed Shepard, his brother Ryan, playing at the next level. So Reese probably has a lot of cool stories and fun things we can talk about, but we're going to be talking about his season so far, some of the things he's speaking on. We're going to have to talk about his stats a little bit, talk about the teammates, talk about the team. The rest of the season he has poured out, some of the goals he has, things like that. Before we get into Reese, though, I want to shout out our sponsors still. We have Grayville Funeral Home, Stacy's on Main, Tent Studios, Patton Funeral Home, Vet City, Laser, and Fleener Fencing. If you're interested in hopping on the sponsor group, contact me through social media or my phone number. I'd love to have new businesses on so we can advertise and promote you in front of this large crowd. So I want to thank everybody so far for tuning in. We've had a lot of people in here watching. We're 47 minutes in. I've made Reese wait 47 minutes until he could hop on. Reese Davidson making his show debut. Reese, what's up, man?
What's up? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm sorry. Before we got on the show, I told guys, let's do about 8 minutes apiece. Kind of not talk too long, but, man, I've made Reese wait 50 minutes behind. Reese, what's up, man? How have you been? How you enjoying this weather? How are you ready to get back on the basketball court, dude?
I do not like the weather. I mean, I used to when I was little, I'd go outside and go sledding, but now it's just like I sit in the house just waiting for it to melt. We can't do anything, so waiting for it to go away.
Well, Reese, I know you love to fish, man, and I don't know if you could fish in this weather, man. I don't know if you could. So I know that's definitely holding you back. You can't fish. You can't play basketball. Life has to be rough, man. It's been rough for me, man. But, Reese, let's talk about the North Laurel Jaguars a little bit, man. Talk to me about the season so far, some wins you all have, how you're feeling kind of at the midway point. I'd say we're kind of at that mid-season point right now. Tell me how you're feeling. How's the environment in the locker room? How's the coaches? How are you guys feeling as a team?
We're feeling pretty good. I mean, right now we're on a 4-game losing streak, which is not fun at all. But we went up to the Lexington Catholic tournament, and then we beat Butler County, and then lost to Manual by 6, I think. Should have won that game, could have won that game, and then lost to Callaway by 1, which should have won that game too. So, I mean, we've played against some of the best teams in the state, and we've almost beat them. So we have a lot of confidence in our team.
Of course, Reese. Yeah, you guys have been tasked. We talked about it with Boyd, but you guys played in the same event. You guys have been tasked with hard schedules, some of the top players in the state. I know you've had to go against some guys, at your position that has helped build you and kind of help you during the season. Reese, we'll talk about the averages. We'll talk about statistics. Reese, right now you're averaging 21 points a game, 8 rebounds on very efficient splits. What's some goals you have set for yourself before you hit the end of the season? What's some things you want to improve on that you're kind of, might have on a wall or in your mind that you're thinking about getting better at?
For me, I mean, this is probably a team thing too. I want to go to Rupp.
Yeah.
That's probably the main goal for sure. And then win a few games there, win the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right now, I think mid-season, is to shoot more threes in the games. Yeah. Right now, I mean, I'm pretty tall, so getting to the rim is what I like to do, but I think I pass up a few open shots that I should take on the 3-point line. So shooting more threes is probably the goal I have right now.
Well, Reese, I'll be honest with you, man. North Laurel has always been fun. They've always had the name. They've always had the branding, and everybody's always enjoyed it. You know, your brother Ryan was a great player at North Laurel, and then your cousin Reed Shepard has been an absolute monster. We could talk about Reed. We could talk about Reed for a while now, but kind of talk about growing up in this culture of North Laurel and being able to be around these great guys. How much did Reed, Ryan, your family kind of boost you to where you are today? How much did those late gym workouts with those guys, hearing advice from them? How did that kind of build you into the player you are now?
It was really fun. I mean, especially seeing where Reed's at right now. It's really cool to know that I grew up with him. I mean, he's my cousin, so that was really cool. I got to play up my 8th grade year with them.
Mhm.
They were juniors. We went to Rupp that year. That was their first time going to Rupp too. And then my freshman year, we went to Rupp again with them. I mean, we lost first game at Rupp, but still going there with them was really cool. Experiencing that with them, playing with my brother. And then I've always played basketball all the time with them, just in the gym one-on-one, just for fun. I mean, Reed was at my house a lot growing up because we live like a minute away. So we grew up together. I mean, it was really fun.
Well, I would say Reed and Ryan are not the funnest guys to 1v1. I say there was a few losses probably growing up that you had to, get over. But let's go back to talking about North Laurel a little bit. You guys have some big wins on the season. You started off 3-0. You beat a Lex Catholic team who had took it down Mel this season. So that's a big win. You beat J-Town, who has shocked a lot of people and been great. You beat the 3rd region champs from last year, Butler County, led by Ty Price. And then you get in some battles with Callaway. You get into a battle with DuPont. You said right now you're riding a little bit of a 4-game losing streak. You've lost 2 games you don't really want to lose. But, how have you guys been able to stay centered, stay focused, keep the locker room positive, and, kind of move in a positive way? You've got a good game coming up against Jackson County. How do you guys kind of plan going into that game?
Well, right now it's kind of hard with the weather, but we got into practice today, so that was good. Watched some film from the South game that we lost. So, I mean, I don't think anybody's really lost their mind or anything. We know where we are as a team. We've played with the best teams in the state, so nobody's really scared. We're just more hungry now that we've took those losses, and hopefully we don't take any more.
Well, Reese, tell us about the 13th region a little bit, man. It's fun. It's competitive. Last year, it couldn't have been much fun playing in when you had to deal with the powerhouse that Harlan County was. And, so you have the Harlan County. You have South Laurel that you guys I would assume, are a little bit of a rival against. You have you all, and then you have Pineville that's led by a guy like Sawyer Thompson, some fun teams. Tell me about that 13th region, man, because it's got to be competitive. It's got to be fun. Tell me about, how that region looks right now, how you guys are feeling going into region play.
We're pretty confident. I mean, we lost to South, which is obviously a rival. I don't know what they're ranked in the state, but they're up there. I don't know if they're top 10 or not, but they were. So they're good. Playing against them, I mean, at home was really fun. Like the sold out crowd.
Yeah.
We played them Thursday or Friday one, but the weather, there wasn't as many people there. But I mean, the 13th region in general is normally pretty good. We're supposed to play Corbin last week, but the weather canceled that too. So ready to play some other teams in the region and see what we're up against.
Well, we all know the Eastern Kentucky rival scene is there. I know the people over there love their rivals and to show out and support. I know, just like a Hazard or a Prestonburg, a Boyd County, anywhere in the Eastern Kentucky gets competitive and fun. And I know people in Eastern Kentucky do rivalries different. So I know that's fun. Reese, we haven't talked about it yet. Let's go ahead and get into it. You see at the bottom, we talked about the Division I offers, the rankings you got to see. How has the recruiting process been for you, man? You're a junior, so things kind of starting to heat up a little bit. More and more offers, phone calls, talks. How are you feeling with the recruiting process right now? And tell us about the schools who's offered you.
I'm liking it a lot. Before the season started, I went on a lot of visits. I went to Liberty, Vanderbilt, Belmont, Western, and I went on the Liberty, Vandy, and Belmont one like back to back to back. So I went to one, then the next day Joe to another, the next day Joe to another. So I mean, I liked them all. It's gonna be a hard choice in the end, but right now I'm just focused on the season.
Yeah. Well, it's got to be hard, man, because you got to balance two things like that back and forth. So it's definitely, a fun thing to go. Reese, it's been a fun season so far. It's just going to keep getting fun. The
Yeah.
fun's still there. You still got to get into March and February where things really start to heat up and you kind of see who you are as a team. You guys got Trinity February 2nd, Sunday, February 2nd at the Woodford County event with Next Up Recruits in Court 14. So that will be a fun game, sold out. You and Jaden going at it a little bit, two of the highest ranked players in the state of Kentucky. So, Reese, I'll ask you this. When you look at the schedule, you look at who you've played, you look at your AAU with Midwest, things like that, you've always been tasked against playing the best of the best. That's what we said on the graphic. Reese has always either been surrounded by or played against the best of the best talent. How beneficial has that been to your development as a player and getting better day by day?
It's been awesome. Playing travel ball with Midwest. I mean, there's every game you're playing against the best kids in the country. So then you take that. It's kind of like it's called the off season, but it's for me. And if you play travel ball, it's not really off season.
Yeah.
And then you get to the high school level, and everybody knows who you are. So the games are kind of hard just because. I mean, I get face guarded and double teamed a lot, so that's not very fun. But every game I learn from it, I get better, and it's helped me a lot.
Well, it's a development for sure, and it's good things to encounter early before too later. It's good to know that's coming early, kind of go into games knowing how things can go, how people approach you. But the face guard and the things suck, but it kind of proves maybe I'm at this level. Maybe this is going to be a recurring thing, but I know it's definitely not fun. Reese, thanks for coming on tonight, man, and making your debut. Hope to see you soon. Hope to watch you soon. I know we'll see you February 2nd. Hope to get you back on here for a little interview. I hope the recruitment stage continues to keep firing up because, man, the Liberty offer, the Western offers, the offers have been really fun. They keep pouring in, so it should be fun, Reese. Reese, are you going to be running it back with Midwest this summer for your final AAU season?
Yes, sir, I am.
That's going to be a lot of fun, Reese. Glad to see you back on that Midwest team, man. I love the Midwest guys and the coaches and everything. Reese, thanks for coming on, my guy. Thanks for making your debut. Anything you want to say to the North Laurel and Kentucky fans out there watching right now?
Thanks for supporting us, and we're going to win state for y'all.
Awesome. Reese, thanks for hopping on, man. You stay safe, my guy. Reese Davidson making his show debut tonight for everybody. Reese was one of the top players that I had on the list that we hadn't had on the show yet. So it's really good to get Reese on here and kind of, speak in front of you all. And, our next guest is another guy who's not really done a lot of interviews. He's not been put on this platform a lot. He's going to be making his show debut as well. He's committed to the University of Bellarmine. He's one of the top players in the state of Kentucky. He's as fun as it gets to watch play. A little bit of a 6'5" point guard. He's been compared to Cade Unseld, Pedro Bradshaw. He's a super fun player to watch. He plays for Warren Central right now, which is, in my humble opinion, has the best defense in the state of Kentucky. A top 10 team for me as well, coached by one of the greats, William Unseld. So when William Unseld says a guy's legit, you usually take his word 99% of the time. You know that guy's going to be legit. So let's welcome his debut show on here, Ant McAfee, onto the show. Ant, what's up, my guy? How you doing?
What's up, Joey? Good?
I'm doing good, man. How you enjoying the weather? I know it's not been fun down here in Bowling Green at all.
You see, I got a coat on in the house. It's pretty cold outside, but man, it ain't been too bad. I guess it ain't been too bad.
Of course. And so a lot of people still aren't familiar with you. A lot of people still don't know who Ant McAfee is. You were at Legacy Christian previously, spending your time on, the KCAA, and you were dominating, the MVP state champion. So you were doing your thing there, but this is your first season at Warren Central in the KHSAA, and there's not really been a drop off. There's not been a drop off at all. You're averaging 21.5 points per game on great splits from the field. You rebound the ball great for a guard. I say a guard, but you're 6'5", man. So how would you describe and kind of explain your game to fans who's not got to see you yet?
Kind of like you said, like a combo guard who can really do basically everything. I love shooting the ball a lot.
Yeah.
I like shooting threes a lot. I kind of just like, I don't know, the offense. I like shooting. I like getting offside steals, fast breaks. I like scoring every type of way you can think of. I like dunking. I like dribble pull-ups. I like all that. So, if you watch me, you'll just see a lot of shots, a lot of steals, and just being hype. I like being hype. So.
Well, I can be honest with you right now, and the games we've seen so far through the season, you've been great, man. You're coming off a good game against Greenwood. And the thing about Warren Central is, you guys set at 12-1, and it's not really fair, to say 12-1 because the PRP game you guys lose, you only lose by 3, but you're without 4 or 5 guys. Like you said, you were the only starter that played that game. So the success at Warren Central this year has been there. You guys are having a great season so far. You got some big wins on the year. You've beat University Heights. You've beat Mel. You've beat the 4th region team so far. You start the year with a win against Owensboro. So the wins have been there. The success has been there. But, Ant, I got to ask you one thing because he's a fan favorite of mine. I think everybody in the state loves him. Talk to us about Coach Unseld and how it's been being able to play for him in your first year at KHSAA.
That's my guy. Like, you can't go wrong with him being a coach. Like, there's never a wrong. There's never an empty conversation. There's never a bad practice. Like, he's a big in everyone's recruiting process. A big part in everybody's lives. He has a special relationship with every player on the team, I would say. He's without a doubt one of the best coaches I've ever played for. Probably one of the best coaches I've ever seen coach. Just the way he coaches is just like on another level. We work hard for him. We play hard for him. Everybody plays for each other, and everybody that's playing for each other is playing for him because we love him that much. So I can't really say too much more about him. He's a good mentor. I love him.
Yeah,
he's like my best friend. So I mean that's really all it is about him.
Yeah. Well, I think everyone loves Coach Unseld. He's one of my personal favorites. But then you got the mastermind. Cash told me recently this guy does karate. He's a mastermind on the X and O board. You got Coach Cedric Gum sitting beside Unseld, and that's a scary 1-2 punch, man. Those guys' success has followed them everywhere they've ever went. Whether if it's the state tournament, whether if it's a regular tournament, a preseason event, those guys win. And they do it good, Ant. So you guys everybody who goes to Warren Central is always in safe hands. It's a great coaching staff. But, Ant, tell me about your season so far, how you're feeling. Statistically, move the statistical things aside. What's some goals you might have set for yourself, to finish out this year?
I would say probably would like to get my teammates more involved. I know I love shooting the ball, but, like, when it comes down to it, people are starting to know me, obviously, so I'm starting to get face guarded a lot more. People are going to be more physical with me, so get my teammates more involved, average a couple more assists a game probably. Rebound better. I know I rebound pretty decently. I'm averaging 7 right now, but for me to be 6'5", I could be averaging at least 9 or 10. So get my rebound numbers up. Probably, I don't want to say this online, but I'm comfortable with the ball, but probably get a little more comfortable so, I can just do whatever I want on the court instead of being limited to certain things like shooting or fast breaks. I can just get the ball ISO if I need to, if I have to. So kind of just I know I can kind of do everything, but get better at everything, improve on everything so I can do everything even more better than I do now. So.
Of course, Ant, let's take a little bit of time. We're going to have Ant on here a little longer than some of the other guests because we want to introduce him to the fans that might have not known him yet. We're going to talk about that commitment. A lot of people might not know about it yet, but, this guy, Ant McAfee, is a D1 commit. He's committed. A lot of people describe you as a Pedro Bradshaw, but a better shooter. They say Pedro Bradshaw coming out of high school is Ant McAfee. So that's a great comparison. And if you kind of look where Pedro went, that might have just gave you a little bit of a hint when, when you're talking about where we're going to talk about where he committed. But Ant, talk about this roster, man. It's a fun team. Jarrett Kirk has been on fire recently. This guy's turned his game up another notch. But there's a lot of other guys that I didn't just mention that I'm going to let you kind of talk about a little bit. Tell me about this roster and what kind of makes this team special.
What makes our team special, if you want me to be honest, is just we all have the will to do it for each other. We all love each other like we're family, and we're all basically new there. We have me, Ryan, a couple more guys that just transferred there, didn't get to play last year and still aren't eligible yet, that are going to be playing with us soon. So, we've been winning games without even our full roster. But I love Kirk, obviously, and Ryan, Armani, Cash, Damo, the whole team. I love all of them like they're my brothers. So, I mean, just being able to play and have fun with the people I like being around is just it's an amazing feeling just playing with those guys every day. Like you said, Jarek's been playing out of his mind. Like,
Yeah.
he's been good. We played Mill, he had like 16, 13, and 7 blocks. Like,
Yeah.
he's been going crazy. So I mean, like I said, I love playing with guys like that. Like, I definitely don't have to be the only one on the court that can score or do certain things. Like, our team is not limited to anything because everybody can do everything. So I love this team.
Of course, man. And a lot of people going into the season said that this would be a Warren Central down year. They didn't think Warren Central packed the power, had the impact guys that they had in the past. Last year, a lot of people don't talk about it, but Warren Central going into the region championship, Bowling Green had an amazing team. Bowling Green was predicted to win that game. They had beat them every single time coming into it. And Warren Central, with Cade Unseld, maybe 50% healthy, went in there and they won that game. And then they'd go to state tournament and they would battle with Harlan County, who'd go on to make it to the, state championship. And the thing about it, Cade's still playing half healthy, still able to keep them in that game. Bratton able to play great, all these guys able to play so good. And people were like, well, I don't view this Warren Central team as tough, as strong. I don't think they can compete. And there's still a lot of season to come. A lot of things can change. A lot of things can happen. And we're not even in February yet. But so far, Warren Central climbing up those rankings every single week. I have them ranked higher than anybody, but they continue to climb up rankings, continue to gain more respect. Going into the season, there was people who had you all ranked 8th in the region. People had this as a down year, and a lot of people viewed them crazy. And I think you guys are proving some people wrong. Was there any type of chip on your shoulder going into this season, Ant, knowing that some people weren't giving Warren Central the flowers they deserved and the respect?
If I'm being honest with you, to me, because I haven't been here, this is my first year here. So I mean, to me, I really came in just like hearing it at school, like, yeah, everybody in school talking about it, saying they've been hearing that we're going to be bad, or they don't know that we're that good, or they don't know how I play. So, I mean, I kind of took it personally for the people that have been here, even though I haven't been here. Like, I didn't want the people that have been here to look bad. Not saying they would if I had it came, but just saying, like, I took that as disrespect, even though I haven't been here. So, I mean, we haven't been playing with a chip on our shoulder because of that. Because, like I said, we all play for each other. We don't play for any outside entertainment. Nobody has any impact on our team whatsoever. We all go out there to play for each other. So, I mean, just coming in, like I said, being new and having a few more guys come in from where I used to live, being new. So, I mean, it's just like we go out there and play. That's it.
Yeah.
We just go.
Yeah, you play the game of basketball, you let the game speak for itself. And there's a lot of people who don't let the preseason hype, the rankings, they don't even focus about it. A lot of times they push that out. It's just the game that comes, all the success comes after. So I think that's good to say. Ant, let's talk about it. Bellarmine commit. You've committed to the University of Bellarmine. I think it was 5 weeks ago. December 4th, I believe, is when you committed. I've seen the Instagram post. So, that's got to be a lot of fun, Ant, to know that you've committed, to a Division I basketball program, a great school, a highly respected school. Well, I asked you in an interview recently, a little small thing, but, what kind of made you choose Bellarmine and what kind of made it feel like home for you?
Well, what made it feel like home, I mean, it's like an hour and 30 away. So, I mean, if I had a game my parents would come to, and I really like that idea. So, I mean, just being close to home, I really, really, really love the coaching staff. Like, they're amazing dudes, amazing guys. I mean, obviously, when you get to college, it's a little different. They just show you all the good stuff while you're on the visits and stuff. But I can genuinely tell that they're good guys at heart. So, I mean, just playing for them is just going to be like moving up from Central. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just continuing to play for great coaches that have good success, And then even the players, like, when I went in there on my official, I hung out with the players, got some shots up at night, Just hanging out with them just seemed like I was meant to be there. So, I mean, like, there was no hesitation in my commitment.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about really any other schools because I was getting recruited by a couple other schools, not too many because, I'm new. So they didn't really know anything about me when I first came here. But, like, there was no hesitation. I love the school. I love the campus. I love the players. I love the coaches. I love the gym. The home gym is I love it. So, I mean, everything about it just meant to be. So,
yeah. And Bellarmine has always been, from Kentucky. They've always recruited some of the best Kentucky talent. and surrounded them on the basketball team. I know Jack Kerensky, Billy Smith, Ben Johnson. There's fun players on Bellarmine that makes them who they are today. Kenyon Gooden, just a guy to name from Kentucky who's playing there now. So, and we know the Davenports, we know they do the great job up there. We know Bellarmine's a great spot, great coach, great players. So I think it's a great fit for you, man. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I don't want to hold you too much longer, man, but let's talk about this week, games you guys have scheduled. You're supposed to play Franklin Simpson Tuesday, and then there's that rival game. Everybody kind of marks on their calendar they're excited for. I'll be there. I know I'll be there Friday against Bowling Green, man. Tell me about how you guys are, I know you had practice today. How are you guys kind of preparing for this week? Because it's going to be a fun week against two tough teams.
Well, we got in the gym today, obviously, as you just said. We practiced today. We watched a lot of film from the Greenwood game. We lifted today, so we got a great little pump in, But preparing for this week, we're going every week the same. Just because it's a rival team doesn't mean, it's a big difference. We go into every game, same mindset, go out there, kill, win. So, we just practice hard like we always do, practice the same way as we always do, and just go out there and do what we got to do. So, that's how it is every week. So, yeah.
Well, it's going to be fun, and I know Bowling Green and Warren Central, it's a long-time rivalry. It's going to be fun. The place is going to be packed. I expect, 100 cameras there, man. Everybody in the local area is going to be taking pictures. There's going to be videos posted. There's going to be people going back and forth. It's going to be fun, but that's what kind of makes these rival games so special and so much fun. And there's a lot of season left, but you've had a lot of success so far. You've committed. It's been a fun year for you, I would assume, so far this year and the end of last year. And leave the Warren Central fans off with one thing before we get off here and move on.
Dub C, where we going. We're going to that Rupp.
Yes, sir. And I appreciate you for coming on, man. We'll do another interview soon, of course. I'll see you this week, my guy. Keep up the great work. Appreciate you, man. That was Ant McAfee making his debut on the Joe Show. We hadn't have Ant back on yet. We'll have Ant on again in the future for sure. Ant has had success. Follow him in his career. And, there's not a better guy it could happen to. A lot of people weren't familiar with Ant McAfee and who he is as a player, so we had to get him on here and let you guys get familiar with him. He's a Bellarmine commit. He's loved by coaches. He's loved by college coaches. People know this guy's legit, so I'm really glad to get him on here. He was a state tournament MVP, state champion, MVP at Legacy Christian in the KCAA, so it's great to see Ant hopping on tonight, get to talk about his past a little bit, talk about his recruiting process and the player he is. Warren Central versus Bowling Green this Friday. It's always been one of the best rivalries in the state, and you look at the teams this year, I don't expect anything less. Two top 25 teams in the state of Kentucky going at it. Coach DG and Unseld going at it. So it should be a really fun game. I'm excited for it. I know a lot of people are excited for it. So, but let's do a little bit of a segment change for the show here. The show won't be too much longer for you all. I know some people might be getting, a little tired. We're in this an hour and 12 minutes so far. I want to thank all the guests who came on today and made it possible. We had 6 guests today. And I genuinely can't thank him enough for coming on. I know it was a weird time. It was a Sunday night. Ant McAfee, Jordan Mitchell, Chance Dillingham, Reese Davidson, Jacob Spurlock. And, how could I not say this could have been a better show? We had 6 great guests on today, like I said. I'm super excited to see the more guests we have come on. Once again, that was Chance Dillingham, Jordan Mitchell, Braxton Keithley, Jacob Spurlock, Reese Davidson, Ant McAfee. So I want to thank everybody who's tuned in and watched the show so far. We're going to be going into a little segment that might last 15 minutes max. Won't talk too much longer on this, but like I said, I want to thank everybody for tuning in so far. We're going to be doing a segment change. Thank you to all the guests who came on tonight who made this possible. Thanks for all these sponsors for today's show. Let's get into it. Let's talk about the top scorers in the state of Kentucky. We got the stats pouring out. We got people knowing who's where, who ranks where. So let's talk about the top scorers. This is the only stat we're going to talk on because I know a lot of people love to hear this one. Braxton Keithley just caught on the show. We talked to him. Leading the state in scoring with 32.9 points. He's coming off back-to-back 50-point performances to end off the year and to start the year. So Braxton Keithley, legit as they come, one of the top guards in the state of Kentucky, and he's proven it with his numbers. Now, the winning for Prestonburg is starting to heat up, so it's a positive environment over there for the Black Cats. And when Braxton Keithley puts up 50 points a game, it's hard to lose. He had the back-to-back 50-point games, but I know he wants his averages to boost up. His 3-point per game averages are a little lower than he wants. He's going to continue to move them up. He gets to the free throw line great. Braxton Keithley, a great player, and I know going into the season he wanted to put up great numbers, and I know that's what he's doing right now. Jason Leake from Heritage. Jason Leake is another great player, putting up 32.5 points a game, basically. Jaden Stewart, another Eastern Kentucky guy, putting up 31.5 points per game. So the Eastern Kentucky scene is representing right for sure. So I know a lot of people are excited for how these guys are playing. I call Heritage Eastern Kentucky. They're not really Eastern Kentucky, man. That's a little bit of an exaggeration, but it's a really good season for these guys so far. How they're playing, how they're performing. I know a guy like Braxton Keithley I know he's a very humble guy, but I know he's really proud of this achievement. I know he wants to keep it up and keep working hard. Tylen George, Western Kentucky guy, University Heights. The University Heights success hasn't been what we wanted to see coming into the season. Their win-loss record really isn't great. They've lost some games. They're coming into the season they're 3-8 right now through 11 games. Elijah Walton just went down, so you really hate to see an injury there possible that could last a little bit. So, with Tylen George having to carry a little bit more of a load now, I'm interested to see how this team performs, how they keep their head up, how they continue to move forward. I know Coach Hughes is a great coach, so I know he's going to keep these guys in the right headspace and going forward. But Tylen George has been phenomenal. He's coming off a great game against Lyon County Thursday night, where he almost scored 50 points. He had 47 points. So how will Tylen George continue to, progress as a player? How we continue to lead this team? He's a junior. He's going to continue to grow. He's one of the most loved players in the state of Kentucky. So it's really good to see the success he's had so far moving in at 4. And then the ETSU commit at number 5, Maddox Huff, one of our favorite guests we've ever had on this show. I love Maddox, the game he has. I think going into the season, we kind of knew a breakout year was on the realm. I think we all kind of knew it was on the way for how he would start taking the full offensive load with Trent Noah moving on. And Maddox Huff's numbers is actually boosted. He's actually averaging 29.5 right now after another big game recently. So Maddox Huff, one of the top players in the state. A lot of people think he might be the best guard in the state. So, it's a fun debate you can have. He's playing great. Griffin Elite alum. Say alum, but a former Griffin Elite AAU player. Harlan County star, man. He's a beast. If you've not got to see him, I highly recommend it. Harlan County sets at 11-4. They got a lot of season left. They're supposed to have Bell County tomorrow. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But keep up the great work, guys. I love to see those top guys putting in the buckets. And, we got 3 30-point-per-game scores. Like Braxton Keithley said, 15 of the 50 are from Eastern Kentucky. So that's a little bit of a cool thing to talk about. Top 10 teams in the state of Kentucky. Number 1, St. X. I don't think we're going to see St. X moving for a while. The LIT could tell a lot. I know I've been a big advocate for Male staying here because I think they're still extremely talented, despite Cole Edlin. But when Cole Edlin was playing, this Male was by far a top 5 team in the state of Kentucky. So when we're talking about Male with Cole, this is one of the top teams in the state. But right now, Male doesn't make my top 10. But I know they're going to continue to work hard. And I think this could be a huge LIT for them to kind of put their name out there and, kind of give them, the respect that they deserve, even though Cole Edlin's on the sideline. Great Crossing. A lot of people counted out Great Crossing and said, man, they're not there. They're not there. They're not this good. But Great Crossing just recently got a huge win against Bel Air out of Texas, headlined by Shelton Henderson, the Duke commit. And then they beat Cathedral from Indianapolis. So 2 big out-of-state wins. They're coming off the Palm City. They're coming off the Myrtle Beach event they played in. So they play a harder schedule than anybody. And, I think it's going to work out for them. Will they win the state chip this year? A lot of people think they should have last year. We still got a lot of time to tell. They recently matched up against Madison Central, which was a hard-fought, battled game. We've seen Jacob Feldhouse have a great time, have a great game. So, Great Crossing is beatable. We've been proving that, but it's hard to beat them. And Great Crossing can also beat anybody. So it's a hard thing to look at. I think they're number 2 when you're headlined by Vince Dawson, LJ Holman, and Kentucky Sonny, Malachi Moreno. It's hard to beat a team like that. So Great Crossing, they got a fun schedule coming up on the way. They got Western Hills, they got Frankfort, they got Lloyd Memorial, and they got Male. They're going to play as hard as a schedule as they come. Let's see how they continue to perform. After that, I got Frederick Douglass. Going into the season, I was higher on Frederick Douglass than almost anybody. I loved Coach Garvin. I loved Coach Smith. I loved the roster they had. And they're riding a 5-game win streak right now. Their last loss was St. X, and their other loss was Great Crossing. They lost to St. X by 17 in a game just where they didn't perform like they're supposed to, but they held it within double digits to Great Crossing, and they honestly kind of let the game slip at times where they could have pulled that win off. They've got big wins against Ballard. They've got wins against Male. They've got wins against Fairdale, North Oldham, Greene County, LaRue, Bryan Station. They've got the 3rd best resume in the state of Kentucky right now, so they got to slide into that spot for me. Jonte Jenkins and DeMarcus Stride has been one of the best 1-2 punches at the guard position we've seen so far. both averaging 16 points a game right now for Frederick Douglass. So I'm interested to see how they continue to play. I know, like I said, I have them higher than a lot of people. They got Wednesday, they got Bryan Station again after beating them by 8 at the LexCath event. So let's see how it continues to play out. They got some other big games coming up, DuPont Manual, Harlan County. So it should be a lot of fun. Let's see how it continues to play out, how Coach Garvin continues to coach this team. And I know they want to make it to Rupp, and it's a hard region. So he should be. And at the 4th spot, I have Bryan Station, another Lexington team. Bryan Station, Frederick Douglass got into a battle at the WGM Holiday Classic. Bryan Station lost that game by 8 points. Amari Owens was the best player on the floor. Amari Owens has been, to a lot of people, the best player in the state of Kentucky so far. He's having a huge season. Bryan Station has played a super, super hard schedule. They only have losses to two of the best teams in the state of Kentucky. They have losses to Frederick Douglass, and then they lost to Bryan, Arkansas. Bryan, Arkansas was one of the better out-of-state teams in the country. They came in, multiple D1 prospects, multiple D1 guys, and Amari Owens right now is averaging 27 points a game, multiple assists. I want to get that exact number. I want to get the exact numbers, and 5 rebounds a game. If you watch Amari Owens gets to the rim better than anybody. The guy is amazing in transition. He's amazing dealing with contact, shooting 50% from the field right now, so he's efficient. You continue to want to see the three-point shot fall more and more for Amari Owens, and he's starting to improve as a shooter more and more, shooting over 30% from the three-point line on the season. So Amari Owens has been a monster. He's been a beast. He's going to continue to produce for these guys and put up big-time numbers. A lot of people are very critical of the supporting cast, but I love Rashad Faulkner. I love Tayshawn Adams, Justin Richmond. I love Brunley Fawn. So if these guys continue to play together, play strong, average 70 to 80 points per game as a team, it's going to be hard beating them. It's going to be hard beating them. They just beat Tate's Creek by about 50 points. So you kind of see how good this team can be and how great they are and how dominant they can be. They've got wins over Newport. They've got wins over Montgomery County. They've got wins over DuPont Manual, Lexington Catholic. So they're a great team. They're going to continue to get better. They're going to continue to dominate. And that's kind of what makes me put them there. Next up is Covington Catholic. I was a little skeptical of the Covington Catholic hype at first. I liked Covington Catholic. I liked Coach Jake. I liked Athens. Athens McGillick is one of my favorite players in the state. But, I seen how they started the season with a win against LexCath, Woodford, and Scott. And I was like, those are big wins. Those are big wins that you like to add. They battled Great Crossing. And then they got some other big wins. They lost. Their only 2 losses on the season are to Ballard and to Great Crossing. And Ballard, for a lot of people's ranked in the top 10. For me, they're right on the cusp. They beat other great teams. So Ballard, Great Crossing, not bad losses, games you want to win, but they went and they played at Sarasota. They got 3 straight wins there. They came back. They played Lloyd Memorial recently at home. They beat Lloyd Memorial. Then they played St. X out of Ohio. Make that clear. Out of Ohio, they got a win there. And then they recently beat Beechwood. They got some fun games coming up. I know the Walton Verona game has been canceled, but they still have to play Newport, Trinity, Louisville, Cooper. So it's going to be fun. I know they end the season on Madison Central, led by Jake Fieldhouse. So the best games are still up to, still on the way for Covington Catholic. So it's really fun to see. Hazard, our Eastern Kentucky team, Hazard's great. Hazard's a really good team. A lot of us, I know some people didn't take Hazard super serious at first. They didn't respect the Eastern Kentucky talent scene, but they beat Breathitt, they beat Ashland Blazer, they beat Prestonburg, they beat Harlan. So then you kind of start saying these guys can beat a little bit of everybody. And then they beat Madison Central, who has really been rising up boards and getting respected by other people. So their only loss on the year is to East Hall out of Georgia, which isn't a bad loss at all. They only lost that game by 2. So they're coming into, their upcoming week. They got Buckhorn and Letcher County. They're coming into it with only 1 loss on their season. They're led by Seth Codell, Dalton Combs, and Evan Eversole, a 20 and 10 point per game scorer. They're good as it gets. It's going to be fun. I think that's the team to kind of pick to make it to Rupp out of that region. And if they do, I think Hazard's going to surprise a lot of people and make a lot of noise. So I really like them. I love Lloyd Memorial as a team still. I have them high. It's hard to find a better player in the state of Kentucky than E.J. Walker. And, he's kind of proved it this season. E.J.'s not going to go out there and try to score 30 a game. He's a great all-around guy who gets others involved, crashes the glass, plays defense, shooting 58% right now as a player, shooting 37 from 3, averaging 20, 10, and about 5 a game. And he's headlined beside Anthony Blackar, who's one of the better players in the state of Kentucky too, especially at that guard position, putting up 16 points a game right now in great efficiency. This team doesn't really have a bad loss that makes me look at it bad. A lot of people wasn't happy with the Harlan County loss, but when you know how good Harlan County can be, especially when Maddox Huff is on fire, they could be in this top 10 too. So it's not a bad loss. Neither is the Covcath or the St. X loss. They got good wins over Ashland Blazer, Mill, and Newport. And they just recently beat Villa Madonna by 30. About 50 now coming up. But then they'll play Cooper Tuesday and Great Crossing Saturday. So they kind of get smacked in the face with 3 to 4 really tough games. So that should be a lot of fun. Next up is Warren Central. I've got them higher than anybody else in the state. It's not biased. It's not location themed. It's just how good of a team they are. They're the best defensive team in the state right now. I will stand on that. They only allow about 49 to 50 points a game. They're lengthy. They're strong. They have guys with size. They can play 2-3. They can play 3-2. They can play man. They're really good on screens. They're really good on not getting killed from the perimeter. And they've not allowed a team to score over 60 this season. And the team that they allowed to score 60 was an out-of-state team where they decided to go for 84. So you really don't look at going into these games that you're going to have a big, high-scoring game. You're going to just try to slow Warren Central down because you know they're going to slow you down. They're headlined by D1, Bellarmine Commit, Matt McAfee, Jarrett Clark, Ryan Holbert, Armani Bird, one of the most fun players in the state of Kentucky. And most recently, who just came back for them is Cash Carter, the 2027 guard. So it's a fun team. They're stacked all around. Dominic Anthony is as physical as they come. Jarrett Kirk is starting to explode as one of the best forwards in the state of Kentucky. We kind of knew it going into the season, but he continued to look more of like a late bloomer who just continues to get better when he plays. So I think that has a lot of more people than Jarrett Kirk on their mind. They have a good win against Male. They've dominated the 4th region so far. They just beat Greenwood by 10 recently. They beat Barron County. They beat South Warren. They beat University Heights. Now, their one loss to Pleasure Ridge Park by 3. Warren Central was without 4 of their 5 starters, so it's just a hard game to go into there and expect them to win, and they only lost by 3. They don't have any huge wins on the season. I love the Male win, but you have to remember they were still without Cole Elam, but it's still a really good win. I'm interested to see if they can beat Bowling Green this Friday. That would be another good win to add to their schedule. If you can walk out of it with wins against Bowling Green and Male, that's good looks, but their best games are still to come. They still play LaRue and Adair County later on in the year. So it's a fun schedule for Warren Central. Unsealed's always going to schedule the best teams, so it should be a lot of fun. Greene County, another team I hyped up a lot going into the year. I loved Greene County and the team they were. Cooper Stone is one of the best freshmen in the country. I mean, in the state of Kentucky. Cooper Stone has been phenomenal. Cooper Stone plays basketball like a 5-year vet is how I described him. He plays so, developed and high IQ'd for a guard, and I think it's helped them a lot. Their transfers of Eric James Jr. and Modi Kuyate has helped a lot too. Eric James Jr. has been one of the best shooting guards and scorers in the state so far, and Hayden Blakeman is just one of the best all-around players. Interested to see how his recruitment continues to heat up and how it goes. He was great with Griffin Elite, and now he's kind of coming off that, and he's still playing great this summer. He's still playing great this season. Hayden Blakeman is a guy who can get you 18 points, 10 boards, 5 assists like it's nothing, and he plays great defense. So I really like this team and who they are. Tanner Willis is another guy I really like. I like Deacon James. I like Caleb Corbin. I like this roster a lot and the guys they have. Cooper Stone running the one beside Eric James Jr. is a scary guard duo, and then Jaden Marr slides in there at the 2 or the 3, another double-digit 1,000-point season score. So I really like what Greene County has as a team. I like how they play together. I like the aggressiveness that Baldwin, Gilbert, Irvin, all these guys show. They went to the WGM Classic. I think they woke a lot of people up. They beat Woodford County. They beat Lexington Catholic. Now, they struggled against Frederick Douglass, but Frederick Douglass is just an amazing team. So interested to see how that game would go if they played again. They also have wins against Caverna twice. They handled Washington County pretty easily. And they beat Louisville Butler, who, in my opinion, is a top 25 team in the state. They still got some great games coming up. They still got to play Taylor County. So that'll be a big game that can kind of show us who they are, how they can deal with the best sophomore in the state, and Xavier White. So that's going to be fun. That's going to be another battle. I like Greene County a lot. I like them coming out the 5th region right now, but I know Adair County will battle. So that'll be a fun game there if they get to meet in that 5th region. And then I ended off with Marshall County, another Western Kentucky team. I like Marshall County a lot, man. I got to watch them at the Marshall County Hoop Fest, and they performed really good, man. They got a good win against 2 out-of-state teams. So I'm interested to see how they continue to develop as players. They beat South Oldham. They beat Owensboro Catholic. So those are 2 wins I like. They handled a 4th region team in South Warren. They beat Ballard by 9 points. I like the Ballard win a lot, too. I like how they handled Paducah Tillman. And they got Callaway County this Tuesday, which I think will be a great matchup between might be the two best teams in Western Kentucky. I think that will tell a lot. Marshall County going into the season was my favorite to make it out of the first region. They still are. They're 15-0. I'm interested to see how they continue to play. Will they end the season undefeated? Because a lot of people don't think they will. They think, you can always give up an easy game, but, they do have the potential and they do have the chances, especially if they're able to get by Callaway County. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see how Coach Donahue and his team over there at Marshall County continues to play. Alex Sable and Kaiser Phillips are two great seniors, also Tommy Robertson. But what makes me, the most excited about this team is watching the young bloomer in Matthew Lange, the sophomore, one of the top 5 to 6 best sophomores in the state of Kentucky. Great scorer, great defender, does everything well. He wants to win. He's got high IQ. So he's a really fun player to watch. He's a good player to be around. And with their state tournament experience last season, it kind of, helps all of these guys on this team be ready. So I'm really interested to see how it continues to play out over there. This is my top 10 right now. Some teams on the rise for me that I really just think of right away is LaRue County. I think they played really good at the WGM Holiday Classic. They beat George Rogers Clark. They beat Callaway County. It's hard to beat Frederick Douglass. We won't hold that hard against him. And they got into a battle with DuPont Manual. So I like LaRue County a lot. The 5th region is a lot better this year than it was given respect for going into it. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. Going to end the show here soon, guys. I want to thank everyone for tuning in for the hour-and-a-half show today. We had our 6 guests hop on earlier. If you missed that, always go back and watch. The show's still available. Make sure to leave a share and a like and a follow, of course. Thank you to everybody who watched tonight and enjoyed the show. My top 10 teams remain on the screen with Amari Owens and Armello Boone previewing with the pictures. And we'll go back and talk a little bit. We're going to be doing these shows every week where we talk about the top teams. We talk about how the week went, stat leaders, and I'd like to do the 5 to 6 guests every week. I'd like to have 5 to 6 guys come on every week and talk as guests. So if you'd be interested, if you know someone that you'd like to see on here, let me know. Send it my way, and I'd love to have them on. I already have a few guys I think I'm going to try to get on here next week, including Coach William Unseld from Warren Central. So it should be a lot of fun, guys. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We had another great show. Thanks to our great sponsors, Grayville Funeral Home, Stacey's on Main 10 Studios, Patton Funeral Home, Vet City, Laser It, and Flair Fencing. Make sure to leave a follow, a like, share it, and tune in to next week's episode. I've heard it's going to be even better. So thank you, everybody.